Morning, everybody. Today we're going to take a look at our lymphatic system chart. We're going to start off by naming the nodes. Now, we name our lymph nodes according to the region that they're found in. So any of these nodes that we're seeing up here in the neck are going to be called cervical nodes. So each of those, again, green structures is a cervical node. As we move down here into the armpit, any of these ones in the axilla are called axillary nodes. We tend to have a group of nodes that hangs out here just above the elbow. We can see them over here as well. These are supratrochlear nodes. As we move down into the abdomen, we have abdominal nodes. These nodes here are superficial. These are just in the inguinal region, so right where our thigh is connecting with the torso. So these are called inguinal nodes. Moving over to this image here, all the nodes that are present within the thorax are going to be called thoracic nodes. Any of these nodes here within the abdomen are called abdominal nodes. And then down here in the pelvis we have pelvic nodes. Pelvic nodes filter lymph that's formed in the pelvis. Abdominal nodes filter lymph that's formed in the abdomen. Thoracic nodes filter lymph that's formed in the thorax. Cervical nodes filter lymph that's formed in the head and neck. Axillary nodes are filtering lymph that's formed in the thoracic body wall, like the breast, as well as the entire upper limb. And then these supratrochlear nodes here are filtering lymph that's formed down in the hands and the forearm. Okay, moving next to our trunks. Trunks are going to be large lymphatic vessels or collections of vessels. I see along here my right subclavian trunk, and here my right jugular trunk. Those two trunks join together here to make the right lymphatic duct. On the other side of the body, I see the thoracic duct coming up through the thorax, traveling behind the heart and entering over into the right subclavian over there. So that thoracic duct is going to receive most of the trunks within our body. So we have a jugular trunk on the left side. We have a left subclavian trunk. If we were to get into that thorax, in fact, let's do that. We see some additional trunks. We see a intercostal right here running next to our vertebra, and then running along the trachea and the bronchi we get the bronchomediastinal trunk. And then here I see again that thoracic duct, which goes behind the heart and then drains over there into that left subclavian vein, or the left venous angle. On this side I see my right lymphatic duct, and that right lymphatic duct is receiving my subclavian trunk and my jugular trunk on the right side of the body. Let's find some more trunks. In the abdominal region, we have an intestinal trunk, which would be following the intestines here. And then when we move down into the connection point between the pelvis and the abdomen, we get these trunks here. And this would be my lumbar trunk running through that lumbar region. We can also see lumbar trunk here. So lumbar trunk. Now the lumbar trunk is going to be collecting lymph from the lower limbs, from the pelvis, as well as the abdominal body wall. Our intestinal trunk is going to be collecting lymph from the abdomen. The bronchomediastinal trunk collects lymph from thoracic viscera, while the intercostal trunk is going to be collecting lymph from the thoracic body wall. The subclavian trunks collect lymph from the upper limbs, and the jugular trunks collect lymph from the head and neck. The last thing I want to show you on these two images here is going to be the cisterna chyli, which we see here, the cisterna chyli, and that cisterna chyli is going to lead up into our thoracic duct. Okay, also present on this chart, we have a fantastic image of a lymph node. So this is a lymph node. I can see the capsule And I can see places where that capsule has invaginated inwards, forming walls or septa, and that septa is going to divide our lymph node up into nodules. So here's a nodule. There's another nodule here. This nodule contains a germinal center, which is an area where B cells have proliferated like crazy. There's lots of spaces within this lymph node. They're called sinuses, and that's where the lymph will trickle through, and then we'll have the opportunity to clean up that lymph and expose our B cells and T cells to any potential antigens that are in that lymph. We see several afferent lymphatic vessels coming in at various points on our lymph node. We see one efferent vessel, and I can tell it's efferent because I look at the shape of that valve, and fluid could pass this way, but fluid wouldn't be able to pass backwards into that lymph node. Recall that the center of a lymph node is called the medulla, and that's where we tend to see primarily T cells and macrophages hanging out, while our B cells tend to hang out in great quantities within these germinal centers.